Hello, welcome to the Busy Mum Club podcast, and I'm here on YouTube as well. I feel like a right influencer with all my cameras going on. I hope you're all okay. So I've been flicking through my Substack today, which if you've not been on Substack, honestly, it's a fairly newish platform. I think it's only been around for a couple of years. And I would definitely go over there, especially if you're a bit of a geek like me and you like to learn new things. So basically it's the new way to blog, and if it's full of like professionals who obviously share what they know in their field, and you can sign up to the pages that you are interested in. So whatever subjects floats your boat, you just kind of tick. It's a bit like Instagram really. You just tick which boxes of which bits of information you want to hear about, and that will come up on your newsfeed, and then you can obviously share your knowledge if you feel called to. So I've been doing it like off and on now for a while, and I used to write blogs on my website like quite often, and I stopped because I kind of just started questioning whether what I was adding was of value. Like I always want to make sure that what I'm putting out there is useful, and so I just got out of the swing of things, but I did love doing it. So Substack is the next best thing really, and you can write like little tweets. It's a bit like Twitter as well. So anyway, go check it out. I was looking through my old like posts today, and I found one that I thought would be quite useful, to be fair, about binge eating, and I just want to share what I wrote about. And then also I've been reading a book about it as well, because love to buy a new book about everything, understanding and managing emotional eating, because I like to just read a little bit about all these types of things, because just in case I get somebody like as a client who has these kind of struggles. And I do often find that a lot of women tend to binge eat, binge drink, and there's obviously different reasons for it. Some are very, very deep, some are really not. Some are just a habit that we've got into. I did have a client, actually, a face-to-face client yesterday, and we were talking about periods and how we want to be looked after when we're on our period, and how, and she just said, oh, like, here's some chocolate. And I just thought it's funny how we all associate a period with eating chocolate. And it's like, it's not something that I do because I've got out of that habit, but it is just literally a response to having a period. And we've made ourselves believe that that's what we need. When in actual fact, if we delve into it a little bit deeper, it isn't what we want. There are obviously people who struggle with PMS, and that will crave like the extra sugar more than others, of course. But I feel like it's something that we can try and work around. Obviously, I'm not saying don't have any chocolate. If you want it, have it. But if it's become something that, you're having a hell of a lot of it, then it's become something that you could probably try and go without. Do you know what I mean? Or try and cut back a little bit. And so I just wanted to go into some reasons as to why we might binge eat, and then some exercises that you might want to try if this is something that you struggle with, or someone else that struggles with it, that they could try these exercises. And when you think about it, they seem so simple, but when you actually think about it, you wouldn't be doing this in your everyday life unless it was brought to your attention. And if you do, I can see why it would really help you. So the reasons as to why people binge eat, then, it's not just about, lack of willpower. There's an underlying reason, as I've said. So if we really, really concentrate and listen to what our bodies are trying to tell you, you will find the answers. So I try to get my clients to do this, because a lot can be said for really listening to your body, and that goes for training as well as eating. So for example, today I wanted to go to the gym, but my hips are so tight. I had a massage yesterday and they're really aching, and cardio 30-40 minutes on the stepper is not going to help me out. So I've just done a 15-minute yoga, I've been for a walk with the dog, and I might go to the gym and train arms only. Do you know what I mean? It's all about listening to what your body needs and following that. And it's not about making excuses either. So we can't just be like, oh, my body says no, I'm too tired, blah, 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 blah. It's about really thinking about what your body needs in this moment. And that might be something that we don't want to do. So the first point I've put is emotional stress, and in brackets, hello, mental overload. So this can be, this can go either way really. Some people eat when they're stressed, some people don't. And again, this is something that we've probably done all our lives and not really noticed. It's a habit that we've got into. I've got a client at the minute going through stuff, and she's an eater when she's stressed. So it's all about thinking about going back into the moment, thinking about what the trigger was, but I'll get to that in a minute. That's an exercise that we'll get to, and kind of replacing it with something else. So that's one of the things that we do. Another one is strict dieting and skipping meals. So I talk about this on my Instagram a lot. So we can, so many women will skip meals, lunch in particular, or probably will skip breakfast, won't start their eating day till 1 o'clock. And so basically what they don't realise is you've cut out a whole meal for that day, and they don't seem to like really understand like how much of an impact that's going to have further down the line. It might not be tonight, it might not be tomorrow night, but at some point within the next few days to a week, that is going to mount up and you are going to be ravenous. So for example, I've not been training as I would normally train at the moment. So I've taken my calories right back. Okay, so my energy expenditure is not what it normally would be. So I don't need the calories, as sad as that is. I don't need my usual amount of calories. So I've taken it back, and I'm like, at the weekend, last weekend, I made sure that I had a carb up, is what I like to call it. So basically what I call a carb up is I don't have a cheat meal. So it won't be like an out of the ordinary meal. It's not a calorific meal like I would have if I was having a cheat, in brackets. You can have it whenever you want, but I like to call it a cheat meal. So basically what I will do is I'll just go heavy on carbs, but good carbs. So I'll have like, I made a roast chicken and I had chips, homemade chips, and then I had some chocolate rice cakes. And to be honest, I was really full and didn't really want the rice cakes. But I have a photo shoot in 2.5 weeks, and that is a really long time. So I made sure I ate those rice cakes because I was getting to the point last week where I was starving. I was having a meal and it wasn't touching the sides. And now that is a signal that I've been running for a while on quite low calories. And when I don't really need to drop like loads of body fat, that for me, I need a bit of a fuel up. You might hear people in the industry call it a refeed. And it's just basically adding a few more carbs in on one day or maybe 2 days, and then going back and going again. Yeah. So listen to your body. If you've been in a calorie deficit or you've been skipping certain meals, you might get to the point where 5-6 days in where you're like, or probably more than that. Mine was about 2.5 weeks in. I'm like, oh my goodness, like nothing I eat is filling me. So that is a surefire sign that you need something. Don't keep going and let it get to the point where you are so ravenous that you are just eating anything and everything in sight. Like, don't do that, because that's when the guilt comes in. That's when this cycle keeps going round and round that you can't get yourself off. Do you understand? Like it just makes it so that you are having this not a bad relationship with food, because it becomes like an all or nothing kind of thing. And at no point, whether you're doing it all or nothing, neither of those scenarios are making you happy. So it's all about little and often. I know it's boring. I know you probably get sick of hearing it, but that will help you long term. Another reason why is obviously hormonal changes, of course. And I've spoke about this already. So PMS, people with premenstrual syndrome. Now, people think PMS is just a bad mood, and it's not. There's lots of symptoms that go into PMS, and one of them is obviously mood swings, but also wanting more calories. We can actually burn up to 500 calories more a day, which is madness. So if you are more hungry, eat. That's absolutely fine. Again, choose more wisely. Go down the route of a carb up like I do. When I'm due on my period, if I need more carbs, I'll have more potato at dinner. I will have more rice. I will literally, my dinners will be full, and I'll make sure I've got something for pudding that's, you know, like a protein. I love those protein puddings that Aldi do. Those layered ones that are like trifle. Mwah. I love one of those after. Do you know what I mean? Like, please don't feel like you can't, excuse me. Please don't feel like you can't eat, because I promise you can, yeah? Another reason, exhaustion or nutrient gaps. So the nutrient gaps is again going to fall under the category of strict dieting and skipping meals, because 9 times out of 10 you aren't getting the nutrients. Like, the women I speak to are not getting what they need. So that's another reason. And exhaustion, so when we are like ridiculously overtired, and if you've got little ones getting you up in the night like numerous times, you will know. So we have this hormone called ghrelin, and that is ridiculously heightened when we are sleep deprived. And what this does is it makes us believe that we are hungry. So we will still feel those hunger pangs when we're not actually hungry. And you will all know what I'm talking about, because it is ridiculous. When you have not slept, you feel hungry and you think, I can't possibly be. Get yourself a big glug of water. I need that. Get yourself a big pint of water and down it before. Obviously, I'm not saying by any stretch replace food with water. That is not what I'm saying. But if you've just had a lunch, like it's 1 o'clock now, if you've just ate your lunch like half an hour ago, you 9 times out, and you are sleep deprived, you probably are just maybe thirsty, or it's your ghrelin playing you up. Don't listen to it. And another one is low self-worth and body image struggles. Obviously, this will delve deeper, and I don't have experience myself with this, so I cannot imagine the struggle that people must be under with this, because it is a constant mental battle. And it makes me feel really, really sad for anyone that experiences this, such low self-worth, that they're in this horrible cycle of wanting to eat to feel better, but then eating makes them feel worse, and it just goes on and on and on. And that, I cannot imagine. It must be awful. So food becomes comfort, it's an escape, it's a reward, and it can be a coping tool. And so if you do really struggle, I am not an expert when it comes to things like that, but this book, honestly, Understanding and Managing Emotional Eating, is amazing. And it's like a workbook as well, so you can obviously use your own experiences, your own feelings and thoughts and feelings, and go through it yourself and do the practices, which I've done books myself where I've like worked through the practices, and oh my gosh, does it help. So I highly recommend this book, and I'm just going to pull a few things out. So the things that I've wrote in my Substack that will help, obviously, how to combat these things. Easier said than done, I know, but eating regularly for most women will combat a lot of issues. So making sure that we're not starving, like it's a really, I mean, obviously it's when you first start a calorie deficit, you might be a little bit hungry, and that is okay. You're not going to die. It's all right. You can be a little bit hungry, but you shouldn't ever be starving. Do you know what I mean? There is a difference. And so eating regular meals, making sure each meal has got all of the macros in it. You've got your carbs, you've got your protein, and you've got your fats in there. If you try and get all 3 in every single meal, you honestly, you will feel so much better. and it helps you feel satiated for longer as well. So I feel like a protein breakfast for every single person who wants to make a difference to their body, or just to have a healthier eating pattern. If you don't already have a protein breakfast, please, please, please just go away and change that one thing. And I promise you, within 3-4 weeks, you will see a noticeable difference. I promise. So again, my next one, include protein, healthy fats, fibre to stay fuller for longer. Honour cravings without shame, and it removes the power of forbidden foods. So again, this is a really good point. Like when I talk about my cheat meal, I do say it in inverted commas, because if it's Wednesday and you want, I don't know, Five Guys, you can have one. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just food, and that's fine. I did a post actually on my Instagram page at Scarlett McDonald Fitness, if you're not following me, and yesterday about like calorie intake and seeing it as a weekly thing instead of a daily thing. And that can really flip the script for you if you really struggle to restrict and stay within those stay within the amount that you've given yourself. If you see it over a week instead of a day, you will help yourself so much more, especially if you are somebody who has a lot of like social events. That might be something you want to look at. But yeah, if you have a craving, you have a craving. Do you know what I mean? I always feel like if you have a craving, there's a reason, there's something missing from your diet. And so maybe have a look at what you've had, not just today, but the last couple of days, and see if there's anything that you're short of. And that's a good idea to go down the route of that. So always having a look at like keeping a food diary. If this is something that you really struggle with, I highly recommend keeping a food diary. Pause before eating and ask, what am I really needing right now? So that, again, that's another thing when you are feeling like I need this, whether it's lack of sleep, whether it's a craving, menstrual cycle, you're just wanting it because it's there, it's habit. Everybody else in the office is dunking biscuits, so you want to too. You don't want to be, FOMO. It is a thing. I've been there. Do you actually want it? Do you really need it? Like, are you just giving in to X, Y, Z, whatever it is? Practice self-kindness. Speak to yourself you would a child, or like speak to your inner child, because we all could do with being a bit kinder to ourselves. Facts. So I'm going to move on now to the exercises I've found in this book that might help. So first one is very simple, straightforward. If someone you knew and cared deeply about was distressed, would you ignore them, tell them to stop being ridiculous, or that they shouldn't be feeling this way? Now, you would 100%, I can guarantee, will have treated yourself like that. But my best friend rings me with any of those, feeling upset about anything. I would never in a million years be like, oh, I think you're being a bit wet. Like, you just wouldn't, would you? So what would you do? So it says circle any that you recognise and add any others. So listen to them, try and make sense of their feelings, empathise, let them know that they have your support. And obviously you will have your own things that you put in place. And how would your friend feel after you've given your response? So what would happen to the intensity of their emotions? So if you're feeling a certain kind of way and your first reaction is to go to the shop and get whatever it is that floats your boat, chocolate, donuts, cookies, whatever, if you actually say to yourself like, right, why am I feeling this way? My boss is a dickhead, right? Then, okay, I'm feeling this way and it is perfectly acceptable. There's a reason behind it. I feel triggered because of this, and that is totally acceptable that I feel this way. Now, I've got two options. I can either go and do what I always do, which is not going to make me feel better, or I can go for a walk, go eat a nutritious meal, go ring a friend. Really good one, that one. Walking, ringing a friend as well at the same time. Highly recommend. Instead, okay? So have an alternative at the ready, okay? Maybe you need 2 minutes in the toilet to do some breathing exercises, but have something else to replace it at the ready. Okay. So she says, what has this got to do with eating? If you learn to develop skills in noticing and making space for emotions, even the challenging ones, this will over time reduce your dependency on food as a way of coping with these feelings. So this is the thing that we don't do very often, is sit with the emotions that we have. So whatever that is, stress, anxiety, sadness, guilt, shame, whatever it is, sitting with that emotion and knowing that it's going to go away. It is temporary, and eating a load of food at the end of the day isn't going to change the fact that that's how you feel. And in actual fact, if you sit with those emotions, maybe you journal it out, maybe you talk it out with someone, whatever you decide to do, then it's so much healthier. And the next time that same scenario comes around, you 100% feel better and able to manage that easier than you would do if you just ignore the feelings, eat a load of crap, and then feel shit about yourself, and the cycle continues. So the next exercise is take some time to consider how you react to your emotions, and start by thinking about some of the most common emotions which impact your eating. Now choose one of these emotions, so whether it's stress, anxiety, sadness, and try to bring to mind a recent time when you experienced this emotion. So the last time you had a binge, what was the emotion that caused it, and what was the trigger that set off that emotion? And try to picture where you were and what was happening. When you experienced this emotion, how did you respond? What was your reaction, and how much discomfort did it create? And you can number it 1 to 10. Did you notice a desire to move away from that emotion and get rid of it? Or was there anything that you did to avoid it? And is there any cost attached to avoiding the emotion? So similar to what we were just saying, if you don't sit with it, are you just going to make it, or is it just going to be a vicious cycle next time? If you sit with the emotion, you treat it, and you give yourself the empathy that you deserve, will you react better to it next time? And then the last one is having doing a little experiment and having 3 minutes out. So you are feeling a certain way, maybe it's a combination of emotions, and these are intense on a scale of 1 to 10. So rate it. I'm feeling absolutely batshit crazy right now. I'm like a 9-10 out of 10. So get your watch out, get your phone timer out on your phone, and give yourself 3 minutes. Maybe she doesn't say this, but maybe you want to spend those 3 minutes tapping. So there's EFT tapping. You can get little YouTube videos on it, and they're really good for bringing your anxiety down. Maybe you just want to do some breathing exercises. Maybe you want to put a song on that that really chills you out, something like that. But set a little timer on your phone for 3 minutes, and then you rate your emotion again. And you might need to do this 2 or 3 times, and that's absolutely fine. But it's just a way of concentrating on something else, but still sitting with the emotion and calming yourself down and regulating those emotions, so that next time it comes around, you can deal with them a little bit better. I think it's a really good book, to be honest. I was going to say, I kept saying she. I was thinking, I'm sure it's a woman. I hope it is. Denise Ratcliffe. Whilst I've got you here as well, I just wanted to quickly let you know that I'm starting a new program for women who train from home predominantly. You might have a gym membership but struggle to know what to do, don't really enjoy it, blah, 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 fill in the blank. But this is predominantly for women that want to train at home. You've got a set of dumbbells at the ready. You want to feel sexy as fuck and be in the best shape of your life, right? So I'm creating a 28-day challenge, and this is going to be a lower ticket program than what I would usually charge. So if you've got in touch with me before about my coaching and the price tag has put you off, this is 100% what you want to get involved in, because I'm telling you now, this is going to be so worth the money. It's unbelievable. We are jam-packing it full of amazing things that you can take through for the rest of your life and get you in the best shape possible, okay? There's going to be live workouts, at home workouts, and they'll be in person as well. Not in person, I ain't coming down your house, all right? But I will be doing them with you. So it's not on my app where you get an exercise, you do it, you fill it in, you move on to the next one. It is going to be me. We will be in a group together, so we will be sharing recipes. We will be doing morning routines together. So if you feel like, you know, you're at a little bit of a period in your life where you need a zhuzh up in all aspects, I promise you this will help. So back in 2021, I went on a mission to improve my life, and oh my God, did I do it. I turned my whole mindset around. Every aspect of my life has been uplifted in every sense, and I have got some things that I now take into my daily routine, to my weekly routine, that I will not drop, and I will be sharing these with you. So not only will you be dropping body fat, feeling bloody amazing in your own skin, in your clothes and out, but you will also have some mindset changes. You will have some tools to keep you going for the rest of your days, and it will 100%, I promise you, improve all aspects of your life. So it's something that you don't want to miss out on at all. And we start, I'm a bit early, I know, but we're starting on November the 3rd. So if you would like updates, or you would like to just book your place because you just think it's that good, which it is, then you can give me a message on Instagram at Scarlett McDonald Fitness, or you can go over to my website, scarlettmcdonald.co.uk, give me an email through there and get on the waiting list. Make sure you put your name down, because it is honestly, I promise you, something you do not want to miss. I've taken what people have told me, I've looked at feedback, I've looked at reasons why people haven't joined when they've been interested in joining, and I've put this together to make it so that I can help as many women as possible, because this is what I'm so passionate about, helping you feel sexy, feel more yourself, just feeling your best selves basically. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're over on YouTube, I appreciate you all so much, and give this a share if you would. It helps a girl out so much. So thank you so much. Bye.